First Corinthians 8, things offered to idols. Now this is interesting. We know we have all knowledge. Knowledge puffs up, but love edifies. Very interesting. Seemingly contradictory, but I'll say two things. Knowledge that puffs up is knowledge of the law. Knowledge that edifies is love. We will go to it's in grace and peace be multiplied to you in the knowledge of Jesus. So knowledge of Jesus increases in grace and truth. Excellence of the knowledge of Jesus. The spirit of revelation and wisdom in the knowledge of Him, Jesus. Light. Now we will switch this to law. And we will go to knowledge of sin from the law. There's something else that so we have lawyers, which is Pharisees, people that specialize in teaching the law, Pharisees for the most part. They've taken away the key to knowledge. You did not enter or let those who are entering, or you hindered those who are entering. There's one other that I'm thinking of, and I must have. Maybe I'll remember. We'll go back to it if I remember. If not, it's fine. If anyone thinks he knows anything, you ever notice that people that are always constantly talking about the law and that they seem prideful and yeah, they go around like they're like the hall monitors all the time. Concerning the things offered to idols, we know that idol is nothing in the world, that there is no God but one. For even if there are so-called gods, whether in heaven or on earth, as there are many gods and many lords, he's talking about now like small g and small l. There's people in charge of different things, like a lord. Back then, like a lord would be the head of the manor. They called him the lord of the manor. Anyway. So as far as like the real God is, there's only one, through whom are all things and through whom we live. Pretty all-encompassing, if you will. However, there is not in everyone that knowledge, for some with consciousness of the idol. Until now, eat it as a thing offered to an idol, and their conscience being weak is defiled. But food does not commend us to God, for neither if we eat are we the better, nor if we do not eat are we the worst. So this is, again, very complicated. Now, he's saying, but beware lest somehow this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to those who are weak. So if it offends someone else, basically he's saying, just for their sake, maybe don't do it. For if anyone sees you who have knowledge eating in an idol's temple, will not the conscience of him who is weak be emboldened to eat those things offered to idols? And because of your knowledge shall the weak brother perish? So, because, yeah, this is very confusing. Like, this is some of the stuff where, like, Peter said Paul is confused. Like, it's hard to understand what he's talking about sometimes. But when you thus sin against the brethren, and wound their weak conscience, you sin against Christ. Therefore, if food makes my brother stumble, I will never eat meat. Sorry, I will never eat meat lest I make my brother stumble. Very, very strange, I will say. I'm not going to pretend it's not. There is some interesting wisdom in here if you really think about it. And the weird thing is that in Acts, it even said, I believe it says not to eat food offered to idols or things strangled and things like that. That's right in the where they're trying to debate about the law. And now he's basically saying love is a greater law than even that. And I would say I'm just listening to my spirit here. Does that make sense? I don't want to be hasty. It's kind of not that big of a deal because people don't really eat things offered to idols anymore, for the most part, unless you're in some interesting places. But at the same time, there is some wisdom here that I'm trying to extract. And basically, it's about not making other people stumble, not using your freedom to cause of offense, to cause those who are weak to be offended on purpose. I think is what he's saying. And I think probably a lot of us have done stuff like this where you purposely offend someone. Yeah. I would relate this to swearing. It's like swearing is, first of all, swearing is such a loose thing because it depends who you're talking to, what they consider a swear word. When you're like, say you swear when you stub your toe by yourself and you swear, not a big deal. If your grandma is offended by certain words because that's the way she was raised and you swear to her on purpose, I would say that's pretty rude and disrespectful and not great. If you're in a situation where it's appropriate language, I would say it's fine. Mainly the Bible, when it talks about swearing, I'll actually bring it up. I know this one off by heart. Now, this word for word, but what is good is necessary for edification, that it may impart grace. So this is the kind of speech that we want to have. Notice it's not talking about words, but ideas. Not words, but ideas here. Not specific words. Now let's go. Now this is again not a specific word. Topic. When it says let no corrupt word, it's talking about logos. We're talking about topics, thoughts, reasonings, motives. Okay? So we're not talking about specific words that are offensive. We're talking about ideas. This makes a lot more sense if you think about it. I think that's probably good with that. I think that was a good analogy, actually. I'm glad I just paused for a second to let that come out. Maybe I'll leave it there. That if you don't understand what I'm talking about, I'm sorry, but thank you for listening, and I think that's it.